everybody, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Friday, August 5th, 2022. You know the drill, it's payday. As I said in the highlights, writing the show up, do not be that person with the cold pizza on the oven at 11 p.m. It's the second half of the season, as Scotty has said all week. It's really hard to get into a lot of these games. The numbers, you're just getting outpriced, and it's costing you a heavy, heavy tax to get into the teams playing real, real well, or the expectations of what Vegas expects. We do know there is landmines all over the board, and especially on Friday and Sundays. So without further ado, let's bring him in from the Palm Tree State himself, the one and only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Afternoon, Scott.
Hey, Jeff. So I guess we find out today how this San Diego lineup stacks up, right? I mean, they play the Dodgers tonight.
Well, the comical part about that is, after the first game, it was duck boats, parades, parade routes, and you put up a 5 spot in the first inning. Drury, hits the grand slam, and this is without Tatis, don't forget. And then reality sets in the next game, and now they come to the Dodgers. What if I told you their team total tonight was only 3.5 to boot?
Well, I'm not sure that Tony Gonsolin is the same Tony Gonsolin. Now I liked Tony Gonsolin 2 years ago, and then he didn't have two seasons in a row where things didn't go so well, and now this year he's picked up and done pretty great. But he doesn't have electric stuff. I mean, he's not a guy that goes out there and throws 97 miles an hour and can sit you down and dominate a game because of that. So he's a different kind of good pitcher. And he's even a different kind of good pitcher than what Anderson is, because Anderson, who's doing really well for them, he's an old guy. Well, I shouldn't say he's old. I mean, he's oldish compared to what these other guys are these days, and he's been around the block a little bit. And he's just putting the ball in the right spots, and that would be the same thing for Gonsolin. Now, if he doesn't put the ball in the right spot, they're going to go over that 3-run number.
If you and I go back to the tapes in the spring training when the lockout was over, and you wrote a pen and a pad, and the Dodgers starting pitchers, what is expected, and that was before the Bauer settlement as well, to what it is today. You've talked at length about their middle and long and their back end, and if you ask the average person right now, today, give me the Dodgers starting 5 right now. Their rotation. What is it?
Well, I can tell you what it is, but I don't know that they'll be able to tell you what it is. I mean, you got Kershaw.
No, you don't have Kershaw.
Well, he's down after last night, but I mean, he just pitched. So
I want to know today, what is their starting 5?
Well, you're going to have Urias. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Gonsolin. You're going to have Anderson. Mm-hmm. Theoretically, you had Kershaw, but he's not in there now. You don't have Mitch White anymore because he's gone, right? So Mitch White is no longer where he needs to be. Or I shouldn't say needs to be. He wasn't that good anyway. I don't know. Let's see what else the Dodgers have lined up for them coming up here. I can tell you that it looks to me like they're going to go. I forgot. Andrew Heaney's back. So he is their guy. And Marty, at this point, I see a good question there. He asked a question about David Price, and I would tell you that David Price is not going to be a starter for that team. I don't think that he's in a position where he could stretch out and get there. I mean, he could go 2 or 3 innings maybe, but I don't think he is a starter. So it looks to me like they're missing a slot, So Gonsolin, Heaney, Anderson, and Urias. Gonsolin, yeah, that's 4 of them. And then the fifth guy, I'm trying to see when these guys come back off or what they're doing. Pitchers, bullpen. That's not what I want. Injured list. That's what I'm looking for. Well, I don't know. It doesn't tell me when these guys are coming back off. But they still got. I mean, shit. They got Danny Duffy, um, Jimmy Nelson, Blake Trinan, Tommy Canley. I mean, look at all these guys that are hurt. Bruce Dargretterall just went on the DL not too long ago. I mean, they're putting it together somehow. But I would tell you they got guys in the guys coming up in AAA, the starting pitcher in AAA. Let's see. Let's see. Starting pitcher Ryan Pepiot. He's pitched already for them, so he's a call-up candidate. Pepiot. He has pitched for them. He started in there.
My GM on my fantasy team has picked him up twice, and that I was wondering. Now I was waiting for you to say that name. Marty wants to know what the hell's going on. Bueller coming back, May back. Is there an ETA on either one of those two?
I can tell you that Bueller has not started a rehab assignment. So if he's not started a rehab assignment, he's not due back anytime soon. And I'm trying to see if I've got anything on him other than that. I don't at this time, but I can do it from a different spot. Let me go over here and see. Here we go. I just got to type his name in. Bueller. So Walker Bueller. Let's see. Any more news? This was on Judd. Okay, so he's set to throw off a mound. No, he's set to throw on Monday for the first time since landing on the injured list on June 11th. So that was done on July 22nd. So that was a few weeks ago. So that would be the first time he's even thrown. So it says that they're cautiously optimistic that he might be able to return in September, is what it says on a different report. And then as far as May goes, here we go. I think he's already doing rehab starts. On August 5th, when was that? That was today. So Dustin May will make 2 more rehab starts before joining the Dodgers. So that means that's he's 2 weeks away. So that would be in the middle of the month.
Mr. Carrot Top himself. So hats off to the Dodgers for just keeping on plowing through. 72 and 33, 39 games over 500. Facing Manaea today, who has been hit or miss, no pun intended. The Dodgers opening up minus 155, kind of sticking and staying right there. Again, an under over of 8.5, over minus 115. If you look at the team totals, the way I read this is that the Dodgers are going to get to 5 and the Padres are going to be 3 or less tonight.
So Gonsolin, he's off a game score of 48. His last 3 is a game score of 43. He's been good. He's a game score of 59, so he's fallen just below that ace-like number. So I tend to think that typically guys in this kind of spot are a bounce back, but he's had 3 or 4 straight bad starts. His last 7's a 53.9. His ERA minus is 138, so that means he's 38% worse than an average pitcher, and his batting average against is 250. So that's where it is. I mean, he's getting hit. He doesn't get enough strikeouts, and when he gets hit, his hard hit rate's 34%, and 34% is not good. I mean, that's too hard. So, but at the same time, Manaea gets hit like that all the time. So what do you do? So I just thought it was interesting that these two are matching up. I thought the number, even though my number is about the same, I'm like, holy shit, he's minus 150 against this team. Oh my God. and it's not even one of their. Well, I shouldn't say not even one of their big boys. He is a big boy these days for them. He's one of their best pitchers, if not the best pitcher that they got. So it was kind of interesting there. Tatis, by the way, probably will be sent out for rehab assignment in the next couple of days.
I thought you were going to say weeks. I was going to jump through the screen. Before we break down the board, Marty wants to know, anyone going to take a swing on Didi?
I don't know why not. I don't know who, but there's always a need to have that veteran guy that's been there, that's played in the playoffs, that's played World Series with the Yankees and stuff, who's been there, and a guy that is the moment's not necessarily going to be bigger than the player. The question, though, becomes is what can he provide? What can he do? And it's just like you asked me the other day about Joey Gallo. It doesn't matter what they do on a regular basis. It matters what they do in that one at-bat, that one time when they come up to bat when the game's on the line. And when the game's on the line, those guys, and I'm not sure about Gallo per se, but Gregorius has been there. He's been in those battles, maybe not as recently, but at least he's had the experience, and he knows what to do. So he's not going to be overmatched by the scenario and the situation. And you see that sometimes when you send up a young power hitter or something who comes off the bench, doesn't normally play much, and swings at just goddamn anything. And the ball's in the dirt and he swung at it, and a ball bounces in front of the plate and he swings at it. It's because they're juiced up, man. They're just, I want to win the game. Well, you got to win the game by staying within yourself. And I think that's a value to a guy like Gregorius. I don't know that he provides that much value anymore. I mean, he can't be the shortstop for the Phillies. There's not a whole lot of shortstop positions available.
Before I pass the torch over to you, I'm going to give you the eye test. I have to say, hats off. You were spot on the, and shame on me for not taking the over in the Mets and the Atlanta last night. You were spot on that. Just with the eye test, what I see on the board here again, looking at wins and losses, the Mets are currently 4.5 games. They have a game in hand, so they're win-loss 4 games up with the game in hand, 4.5 games ahead of Atlanta. So I don't like saying this, but I am going to say this. This is an absolute must-win for Atlanta, in my eyes, if they think they're going to have any shot of potentially catching the Mets, which, again, I talked at length when they got to a game and a half and a game within the Mets, and you couldn't pass them. I compared it to last year, the Dodgers in San Francisco. I mean, I think we can say pretty much they're not going to catch the Mets here. But an intriguing number that opened at 135, currently at 126 now. So last night I says it looked like an Atlanta number. Your number said it wasn't, and you were spot on there. Talking about the Dodgers in San Diego, breaking that down even further. Again, they're baiting you to take the Padres over 3.5 there. I think just numbers with an 8.5. This has got 5-3 written all over it, something to that effect. Cy Kluber, and I say that tongue in cheek, of course. Good game for Tampa, putting up 6 yesterday. A number under over 8. We know that Detroit can't score right now, but I can't expect Tampa to come back with 4 or 5 again tonight. Cease, we talk about Cease. When he's on, but he's got that whiplash here, because the games that he's not on, they're scoring, but Texas bats have been silent. So I'm not a big Otto fan there. The Red Sox, listen, Cora, he's not leading or telling us what the hell's going on. Whitlock was available. Houck was available. They had an opportunity to win. If you wanted to mail in the travel day game after you beat the Astros the first 2 games, okay, I'm fine with that. No excuses yesterday. 2-0 lead, down 3-2, 3-3, and then Henderson comes in. Maybe something's wrong with Whitlock, because that was Whitlock's spot in the 7th. He did not get called in there. I have no faith in them right now, so that's a whole nother subject. The Berrios, Minnesota, again, I thought they were baiting you to take Toronto last night. You were all in on Manoah. box to wire, easy win. We know Berrios, Jekyll and Hyde. Melee's first start. I don't know how many times Toronto's seen him, but I think it's a good spot for Minnesota. But again, 8.5. Do their bats wake up? Funny. Sandoval versus Ray. Overnight number 6.5. So they're not just expecting big things from Ray. They're expecting big things from Sandoval. Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Listen, I love the story of Baltimore. Overnight number of 170, corrected line of 148. I couldn't bet Baltimore minus 150 with your money. So, and then Cortez versus Hudson, an overnight number of 145. We know what St. Louis does versus lefties. I think they're begging you to take the Cardinals. I really do. That's a pretty steep price for the Yankees on the road against St. Louis. So the board is yours. I can't wait to hear it.
So that Mets, the Mets and the Braves there. This will be. They've got 8 games in so far. The Mets are ahead 5-3 in the series. Now remember, when they're division teams like this, they play 19 times, so they got 11 more to go. So I would tell you, even if the Mets win tonight, that it's not the worst thing that could ever happen. However, you want to keep within an arm's reach of that team. Theoretically, what you want to do is be able to go in there with a hot weekend and be right at the doorstep. But if you're 4 or 5, 6 games back, you need 2 hot weekends. So I think that, well, I shouldn't say it this way, but I think the Mets are going to hold. I told you that at the beginning. I thought they were going to hold. I think the schedule sets up for the Mets. And then they get their pitchers back, and I think that they're going to hold. And right now they're hitting offensively. So it's just interesting. Now I will tell you too that, when we got off the first show, I'm like, holy shit, Jeff, this is a tough board, and I'm having a hard way. But I found a play. I got at least one in, and I made the bet, and it's in. I got it. So we'll go over that in a second. But Pittsburgh, Baltimore is the first game. This is Mitch Keller and Kramer, and what I would first of all tell everybody is that yes, Baltimore should be the favorite. It's a home game in Baltimore. Baltimore's going to be one of those teams that are right around 500. Pittsburgh is not. They're not going to be at 500. So Baltimore is a better team, and they're at home. But Mitch Keller is the better pitcher tonight. That doesn't mean that Baltimore won't beat them. But to have it be a line of minus 150 or 155, whatever the number is right now, I think that's way too high. I'm showing value on Pittsburgh, but not enough to bet it. So Kramer's off a game score 16. Now you know what I know that's the number. You get off a 16, baby, you're gonna pitch good to balance those numbers out. But he's got an ERA minus of 158 and an xFIP number of 455. So, and his batting average against is 325 and a whip rate of 1.61. So I don't like him at all. But that doesn't mean that Baltimore won't win the game. I just think that your value is not there, and especially at the price you got to pay. And just remember, Pittsburgh just they beat Milwaukee. They swept Milwaukee, didn't they? I mean, they just beat Milwaukee and were behind in every one of those games and came back and won them all. So this is a scrappy team in Pittsburgh. The next game is Washington, Philadelphia. This is Josiah Gray and Gibson. And in a lot of ways, Josiah Gray is going to be their best pitcher. He's not probably yet. This is the first real true full season. He was the guy that was part of the Scherzer trade for the Dodgers, and he was the big piece. And his game score for the season is a 48. He's off a game score of 43. His last 3 is a 36. It would be hard for me to tell you to go bet on Washington after they got rid of all their players. And I wouldn't tell you to go do that. I would just tell you that Gray's probably as good a pitcher as Gibson is, even though Gibson's kind of older now. Doesn't have the stuff that Gray has. Gray throws 96, 97 miles an hour. His xFIP number today, 3.6. xSierra is 306. However, again, he got, I don't think, nearly enough offense to match up here. But again, it's one of those spots where it's minus 187 as it was earlier. These numbers might have changed a little bit on me, but I have it Philadelphia a little bit over 200. I think Washington's thrown in the towel. Now, granted, they were a little bit scrappy there too. But I'm not going to get involved in this game trying to find a first five or a run line or something like that, especially when you have Gibson, who does give up some hits. It's the wrong kind of attitude, or at least for me, to try to get involved in that one. The next game, this game is one I'm on. This is Houston and Cleveland. This is Framber Valdez, and he's going against a kid named Hunter Gaddis. And Valdez game score for the season is a 61. At 61, Jeff, he's the best pitcher pitching today, period. Of all the pitchers today, game score 61 is the best. And his last 7 starts, he's a game score 63. His last 3 starts, he's a game score 61. His last start's a game score 67. Notice any trends there? I mean, the guy, the reason the guy is good is because he gets ground balls. His fly ball rate is 12.8%. 12.8. So almost everything being hit is a ground ball. And if you're going to hit ground balls against a major league pitcher, typically you're going to make outs, number one. Number two, you're not going to hit any doubles, triples, or home runs by hitting ground balls. Now you could, hit something down the line or something, you could get a double. But the point being is that it's very hard to do damage against the guy. He's got a hard hit rate of 21.5. Batting average against is 223. So it's just below the average. The average is now 243. So he's good everywhere, and he's left-handed. So Cleveland against left-handed pitching, they rank 29th in all of baseball. There's only 30 teams, so it's 29th out of 30. That's not good. And they are 76 weighted runs created plus. That means they're 24% worse than average. Now, if you take the same statistical data and you switch it into weighted runs above average, which is WRAA. It's just a different way to kind of look at it. They are 30th against left-handed pitching. They are minus 29.8 runs to an average baseball team. So that tells you how bad they are offensively, statistically, against left-handed pitching. Now, it sort of hasn't carried over and truly into the won and lost categories because they're more 500-ish there. But I take it to the degree that, Valdez is a great pitcher and Cleveland's not a very good offensive team against left-handed pitching. And currently, Cleveland ranks 20th in offense. So I kind of like the idea that, Verlander smacked them around yesterday. Now they get a lefty that they can't hit. I think they're going to get smacked around again today. So if they're going to win a game, maybe it's tomorrow. But in my mind, anyway, that's kind of how I looked at it. Now, this kid Gaddis, his name is Hunter Gaddis. Gaddis is making his major league debut tonight. And when I got the information on him, I'm going to pull it up here just a second. He is where's my guy? There he is. So he was a 5th round draft pick in 2019. He's the 23rd. He was the 23rd pick of that round. So he's the 160th pick of the draft. So he's not supposed to be this dominant ace kind of guy, and he really isn't. But he does throw some gas. His fastball grade is 50 out of 50, and his slider grade is 45 out of 45. So that's pretty good. His command grade is 40 out of 45. So that's where you start to lose things. And I pulled up his game logs coming into this game. So his last start was a minor league game against the Cincinnati Red AAA affiliate. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. At the time before that, he pitched 4 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs, and then he gave up 4 runs, 5 runs, 3 runs. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 out of his last 5 starts in Double-A and or Triple-A. He's given up 3, 4, or 5 runs. Now he's going to face the Houston Astros. So I kind of like the idea here that even though they haven't seen him, which is an edge to the pitcher, I think they're going to be able to do okay. Now, I put some money back into my bookmaker account because I was getting tired of sitting here trying to figure out how I was going to do stuff. So I got a line of minus 137 on the first 5 innings, minus a half run. So that made total sense to me because of the way Cleveland can't hit lefties. I think this guy can get hit right off the bat. And the advantage that Houston has is they have a better offense and a better starting pitching. The bullpen, Cleveland ranks second right now, and Houston ranks sixth. So I might as well not bother with the bullpen anyway. So I did it first 5 innings, minus 137 at bookmaker, and I think the number is probably like 145 or something some other places, but that's okay. I'm okay with that number. Anyway, I did the run line with Houston minus a half a run. So there you go, Jeff. I at least found something to bet on today because this shit is hard. Tampa Bay, Detroit, Kluber and Garcia here. Kluber's off a game score 51. Which is about what he's averaged this year. He's a game score 52 on the season. He's pitched against Detroit already this year, and he had a great start. It was a game score 70, one of his best outings of the season. And he's done really good against the Detroit before. And remember, when he was a Cleveland Indian, they played Detroit a lot. So he's pitched against Detroit quite a bit. His game score in those last 5 against them is a 63. So he's been ace-like. I don't see any reason to believe that he's not going to do okay today. And Garcia is Brian Garcia. This will be his second start. His first start, he went 3.2 innings, and he didn't fare too well. He got a game score of 42. His xFIP number is 4.74, SIERS over 5. But I don't really read into that too much after one start. So they got to have 3-4 starts in there for that really solidifies up some. Kluber's been pitching a little better. He's got over 8 strikeout rate. He's got an under 1 walk rate. So that means he's not putting guys on base. You got to earn your way on. 1.14 whip rate. So my only concern here is, again, you got 2 teams that can't score, and you got one team that can't hit at all in Detroit. They can't hit. And then you got to figure out what to do with Tampa Bay. So if Detroit gets lucky, gets a walk or something, and hits a 2-run homer, now you got to figure out how you're going to score 4 runs to cover the game. So I'm staying away from that. This one is one that I'm going to tell you is a strong lean. I didn't bet it because of what happened last night. This is Atlanta and New York Mets. This is Anderson against Walker. Now, Walker has had a tremendous season. And in fact, he's been, I thought Bassett was going to be right up, and he is. Bassett's been good, but Walker's been a little better than Bassett has been, to be honest. And I didn't think that was even going to be a spot. Now, at one time, Walker was supposed to be really good when he pitched for Seattle, and they moved him to Arizona, and now he's back with the Mets. So, he's bounced around a little bit, but he's been good. His game scoring last 7 is 59, so that's good. 57 for the season, that's real good. And he's off a game score 44, so I expect him to pitch pretty good. Now he's pitching against Atlanta and Ian Anderson, and Anderson's had his ups and downs, but boy, he was good last time out. Game score 80. So that means he's going to have an offset here. And his numbers so far against the Mets this season was a game score 51, so average, and he's got a game score 53 in the last 5 versus them. But he's got a game score 47 on the season, so he's very hittable. I mean, his strikeouts are where is strikeouts? Strikeouts 9.61 strikeouts per 9 innings, but 5 walks. He puts guys on base, and you can't win games putting guys on base. 1.37 whip rate. So I kind of like the idea that Atlanta's starting pitcher tonight is going to regress, and Walker is going to progress and have a pretty good game, which then says, okay, well, what's the number? The number is like 135. Is it still 135, something like that for the Mets?
It's about
consensus. Yeah. My number is 169 on the Mets. I think the Mets are much bigger favorites tonight, and 135 wouldn't scare me away. But I don't have to bet it, so I'm not gonna bet it. It's just what I would say is a very strong lean. I think that I think that would be a spot where, okay, Atlanta lost last night. Maybe they come back and do something that they're not supposed to do tonight. So the next game, and this is where I tell everybody, don't be afraid to go back in there again. If just because you lost one game doesn't mean you're going to lose two, and it doesn't mean if they played three times you would win two out of the three in a series. So this is the White Sox in Texas. This is Cease for the White Sox. And as Jeff said, he's been kind of up and down, but he's in those up spots right now. He's a game score 59 on the season. Very, very good. Almost ace-like. He's a 66 in his last 7, 69 in his last 3, and 63 his last start. XFIP and Sierra numbers 324, 320, and he has the best ERA minus on the board today, which is only 15. That means he's 85% better than an average pitcher right now. I mean, that's really, really good. And the reason that he's that way is because he's got a 10.57 strikeout rate and a 2.93 walk rate. When Cease is bad, it's not because he gets hit, it's because he can't throw strikes. So his walk rate right now is under control. He's a fly ball pitcher, but his batting average against 163, whip rate 098. He's got a hard hit contact of 20.5, so very, very low. So they're not hitting him, and it's very obvious. So he is in good shape, and he should throw another good game today. Now Otto on the other side is one of those guys that boy, I tell you, game score 39.9 over his last 7 starts. He's 4.55 xFIP, 4.26 ERA. 136 ERA minus, so he's 36% worse than an average pitcher, and Cease is 85% better than an average pitcher. So my number shows White Sox minus 230, and I think the number is White Sox minus 180. So I get it; it's a big number, but if you want to play it, I'm okay with it. I'm not playing it just because I don't want to go at the minus 1.5. Because the damn White Sox get people on base, and for whatever reason, they forget how to drive in runs, unless Abreu's batting.
The overnight number, first 5 minus the hook was 120, now moved to minus 135.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, I would ride that. That doesn't bother me if you want to go that route, and we got to use 1 by 1. And Otto's very hittable. I mean, his batting average against 253, 1.32 whip rate, and he's another one of those guys that's red in walk rate. I mean, 3.16 walks per 9 innings, so he puts guys on base plus allows hits. So again, that puts the White Sox right square on them in the year, and you have value there. The next game is Winkowski against the Royals and Greinke, and my number came out to Boston minus 114, and the line was Boston minus 110. I don't know if it's changed so much since then, but that means there's no value in it for me. And the way Winkowski's been pitching, 5.87 xFIP, 5.83 Sierra, 186 ERA minus. I'm not betting on him, and I'm certainly not betting on Greinke because the Red Sox like it when Greinke comes to town. He's got a game score 30 against the White Sox or Red Sox. They're like, oh shit, Greinke's here. Let's go hit. So I'm staying off of that game altogether. And I would tell you, okay, well, this would be normally like an over kind of game, but neither one of these teams' offenses are going anywhere. I thought Boston had a good shot to win last night. I bet on them to win last night. Like you said, I thought they should have won. I shouldn't say should have won. That's the wrong way to say it. They should have played a more competitive game with some of the decisions that were made as the game played out, but I'm not in control of that, so it is what it is. So the next game is Toronto and Minnesota. I was all over Toronto last night. Today, strong lean. I didn't bet it, but a strong lean on Minnesota today. I've got the number at actually Minnesota minus 107 over Barrios. And I think you're going to find Toronto being the favorite in most places. I think it's come down from the 125 I saw early. I think it's in the 117, 120-ish type range. But that still means you're getting value when I think Melee should be the guy who's the favorite. So how does that work? Well, Barrios off a game score 70, and you know how he is. He's all up and down and everywhere, but he's off a game score 70. He's got his last 3 starts, game score 57, but Jeff, game score 48.9 over his last 7. So shit, he's got mixed in there some really bad games. For the season, he's a game score 47. For the season, this guy's supposed to be an ace. And he's a 47, not even an average pitcher at this point. And Maley's turned his season around. He's a game score 52 on the season, but his last 7's a 59, and his last 3's a 53. So he's pitched pretty well. And Toronto really hasn't seen him much, very little, probably 24 to 30 at bats. And in those 24 to 30 at bats, the ex-WOBA number is 2.94. So they haven't done well against him either. He's got a 9 strikeout rate, so that's pretty good. That's in the green. 9 strikeouts per 9 innings, and his walk rate's really good. So his batting average against 167, and his whip rate 0.83.
Where are both bullpens?
Well, when you start to think about the bullpens on these two teams, well, let me flip it over there real quick. You got there we go. Nope, that's offense. That's bullpens. And you go down to Toronto's bullpen is 25 out of 30 teams. That's not very good. And then when you start talking about where Minnesota is, they are 20 out of 30 teams. So Minnesota's got a better bullpen, but not by very damn much. So, you know, whatever kind of look, but you got to remember, Minnesota went out and did some stuff to try to help their team win. So that gives their team a little motivation. I'm not saying the Blue Jays didn't. I mean, they got Merrifield now. So they did a little bit to try to help that team. So, you know, when you start to think about kind of what these teams look like, I think Barrios off of a game score 70 is no way I would play him because he's a game score 47 for the season. And theoretically, anytime he has a good game, he doesn't back it up. So I'm thinking that the Twins are probably the right way to go. My problem with the game is that neither team, Minnesota is ranked 22nd in offense right now, and Toronto is ranked 24th. So I sit here and look at it and go, well, these teams are kind of even. The line should be kind of even and shaded towards the home team, and they're not. So I think that's where you're betting pure value, and I think you're getting at when you bet Minnesota. I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on this one. This is Cincinnati against Milwaukee. Duggar's on the mound for Cincinnati. He's a bulk guy. He's a 2 to 4 inning relief pitcher is what he is. This will be his first start this season. He made several starts last year. His game score against Milwaukee, because he's pitched against them before, is a 42. He hasn't got any game score this year because he hasn't started anything. Lauer, on the other hand, is a game score 50 for the season, so he's an average pitcher. He's a lefty. His xFIP in Sierra is 5.0, 4.9, so that's not very good. So I sit here and go, okay, you got the bullpen for Cincinnati. You got sort of a bad Lauer right now. He's not pitching that super good. And then you're going to have to go out here and go minus 230 or whatever it is. I think not. And I'm not taking the Reds either, so I don't think I'm playing either side of that. Now, I think the Yankees in this St. Louis game, I think if you really wanted to go down on this game, again, another strong lean. I didn't play it. And there's only one reason why I didn't play it. But I think the Yankees and Cortez are the right side. I have the Yankees as a minus 190 favorites today. I don't think people give Cortez enough credit for really what he is. And I think people are giving Hudson too much credit for what he is. The only reason I didn't play this game is because the St. Louis Cardinals are number 2 in all of baseball against left-handed pitching. That's the only reason. I mean, Cortez is off a game score of 54 and he's a 58 on the season. His last 7's been a 50, so he's in a good spot to do well. Hudson's off a game score 42. His last 7's a game score 43, and his season's a 49. So he's a below average pitcher. He doesn't strike guys out, and that's not good if you're facing the Yankees. I mean, you're going to try to tell me a contact pitcher is going to get the Yankees out without them scoring a bunch of runs? I don't think so. But at the same time, I looked at it like the Yankees throwing a lefty. Maybe they get a home run or two here or there, and they can stay in the game. The other thought is that St. Louis just played a doubleheader yesterday, and they were tight games for the most part against the Cubs, and they beat them both times, and they had to use their bullpen some. So I think they're going to be a little depleted here. I think that this is all Yankees. It's all one-sided, but you're going to have to pay minus 150, 155 probably to get there. I would not pay the run line numbers only because Cortez, even though he's pitched well, is not in the threes in his ERA, in his Sierra numbers and so forth. It looks like he's at least a little bit hittable, and they got guys that can hit. Colorado, Arizona, this is another one that is, holy shit, two bad teams. What are you going to do? We talked about that this morning. If you're going to bet on two bad teams and you think one of them is going to do what you think they're supposed to do, good luck to you. They're bad teams because they're inconsistent and don't do well. However, Bumgarner's off a game score 32. Not that means a whole lot. It's a game score 48 on the season. He's the xFIP is 462, Sierra 471. Marquez actually pitching a little bit better over his last 7. He's got a game score 52 and a game score 56 over his last 3. He's been good against Arizona too. 56 this season. Over his last 5, and a 62 so far this season. So I don't like Colorado in this game, but I can't bet on Bumgarner either. So again, unless it's laid out where, okay, there's all one-sided action, I'm going to pass on it because, you got Arizona, what are they, minus 130 or something? If all things are even and you got the home field in a baseball game, that's going to be worth 15 to 20 points. So if you're talking 120 is what the Arizona would normally be favored at as the home team, then they're saying, hey, Bumgarner's worth 10 points is really what it looks like. And then the game we talked about at the beginning, Minaya and Gonsolin. Minaya 4.22, 3.98 xFIP and Sierra, but Gonsolin, he's a 3.85, 3.80, so not much difference there. ERA minus 116 for Minaya, 138 for Gonsolin. Now you got to remember, these are in the last 30 days. On the season, it would be much different. Gonsolin would be much better. Gonsolin, his last 7 starts is a 53, almost 54, but Minaya is a 42. That's not good, especially on a team that's trying to contend and be there at the end. And Minaya hasn't faced the Dodgers much. They faced him one time this year and probably a little bit with Oakland, but not much. But the xWOBA number against the lineup, 465. That means they hit him. So I can't back Minaya. I don't want to back Gonsolin. I think the numbers, maybe this is an over kind of spot where, you look at it and go, okay, maybe these guys are going to hit. The Dodgers are number 2 in all of baseball to the Mets right now in offense, and San Diego's up there in offense right now too. So maybe that happens because neither one of these are big strikeout pitchers. So we'll see. And then the last game was Sandoval and Ray, and we've been trying to say, hey, don't bet on Ray all season. Then he went on that little run. That little run's over. He's a game score 53 on the season, and a guy that's won the Cy Young Award last year with a game score over 60. So he's showing better than average. He's a 52.4 in his last 7, 29 over his last 3 starts, Jeff, and a 22 the last time out. So that would tell me that I would want to support him tonight, being a 22. Because it's so low, that would be that time to say, okay, he's got to get his numbers in balance. I mean, that's what happens. He's been good in his start against the Angels. Game score 80. That's pretty good. So I look at it and go, okay, well, what's going on with Sandoval? Well, Sandoval's last 7 game score 47, almost 48. The last time out was pretty good. Game score 61. But he's a 53 on the season. It's just the same as Ray. Then you got to go and say, ERA minus 140 and 185 with Ray being the worst. And they both have over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. So you almost have similar pitchers out there today, but I think that means you got Ray with a good chance. You got Sandoval, probably not so good chance because one's going to progress, one's not. So then I look at it and go, okay, my number says it should be minus 153. The number's like 200. So that tells me that there's all kinds of value on the Angels. I'm not playing on the Angels. You could kiss me. There is no way in hell I'm playing on the Angels. So there you go. That's kind of how I broke them down. And I did play the one play. I do like Houston in the first 5 innings run line tonight. Valdez over Gaddis.
I was just laughing. The Angels team total today, 2.5 juiced over minus 122. They just got to kick a field goal. It's just comical. We're at a point in baseball, and just peeling these layers back and just you listening to your numbers. And it's like, you get into these funks and streaks. And the comical part is this, Scotty. You could release 4 games and go 0-4, and then just take those next 4 games, take those 4 games that you had the day before, play them the next day, and you are like one day ahead of schedule. And just it's comical how many times that happens. And again, last night we go 1-2-1. We get kicked in the what with the Phillies team total because it was voided. And the Sox, we had money line and run line. And again, I don't blame right side, wrong side, whatever. I blame Cora on that. It is what it is. It was 2 losses. There was just no way that should have ended the way that did. But again, teams that I don't want to say mailing it in, but you can tell the teams that are fighting and the teams that are not fighting.
There's no question, and there's variance in those lines for sure because of that. So I also think that it's like I said, just because you were wrong one night doesn't mean you can't go back in there the next night. So I was on the White Sox and they didn't do what I needed them to do last night, even though I had every goddamn chance in the world. If somebody were to go back in on Cease today, look, I'm all in on Cease today, but I didn't bet it just because it was out of control, the numbers, and the White Sox aren't hidden, so whatever. Anyway, I thought if you looked at the team totals for the Houston-Cleveland game, it was kind of telling too. I think that they think Houston's going to win this by more than 1.5.
4.5 juiced over, 3.5 juiced under, with a total of 8.5. So again, that's got 5-3 written all over it without even going over. So, closing thoughts, Mr. Webb.
Well, I think closing thoughts is this is the way baseball is going to be, and I understand why people sit here and go, I don't want to play baseball no more. Football's around the corner because this shit's hard. You gotta go through here and dig and figure out where you want to go and where your edges are and what kind of edges you got. And don't be afraid to bypass a day if you had to. And I was prepared to do that today, but I think I was able. The thing about Gaddis and his probably shouldn't sway me, but it did. Is his game log? Where 4 out of his last 5 starts is getting hit in the minor leagues, and I'm like, oh shit, you're going to face a major league team that can actually goddamn hit tonight. So I was like, there's no way I can't do this because I thought Valdez is the right side anyway. So it takes a lot. I mean, it took me to go to a pitcher's minor league game log to actually make a wager today, for God's sakes. So if you get to a point where you don't want to do that work, just listen to what we say, or if you get to a point where you don't want to do that work and you're only betting your own place, then skip today and see if there's one better tomorrow, because this shit ain't easy.
For me, it's Friday, guys. It's payday. You know that, and you know the drill. I repeat, do not be that guy that goes in with your paycheck to your local watering hole, to your local barber, to the casino, and sit there and play a couple early games as you tell the wife, hey, I just ordered pizza. I'll be home soon. Now it's 10 o'clock, 10:30. You're watching the San Diego Dodger game, or you're watching Marquez versus Bumgarner, and the wife checks in and says, hon, where's dinner? And it's on the oven as you just lost the rent, the mortgage, the direct TV bill, the cell phone bill, whatever it is. Don't be that person. All right, guys. As Scotty's laid it out real good. We're at August 5th. We are exactly 22 days away from opening weekend from kickoff for the college kids, week 0. We do have baseball. We will have NFL preseason week 1 on Thursday. A lot of stuff going on, and we got a lot of stuff brewing here. Just be patient. Be patient. You know, it's the dog days of summer for a reason. And if Scotty says take the night off, if you don't see anything, there's always tomorrow. Go take the wife. Go take the kids out. Go to the county fair. Go out, get some ice cream. Go to the beach. Get a barbecue going. Whatever keeps you smiling. Happy life, happy wife. Remember that. And with that said, if you are wagering, though, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scotty care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. And yes, there was a run scored in Wrigley. Marlins 1, Cubs nothing, top of the 8th. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Mr. Scott E. Beam 'em up Webb at Webby20MLB. We wish everyone a blessed evening. The weekend's here. Have a couple cold ones on us. And I think you'll see me and Riley early tomorrow morning. Be safe and see you soon.